Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fenil again from the Teacher Trainer Limited, and in this video I would be talking to you about our very new online micro teaching sessions via Google Meet option. And this is our solution to the stagnant situation that COVID-19 has imposed on all of us. And I'm sure all of you have been waiting for more than 3 months now, and the wait has been very eager. A lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and we have been promising people that we'll definitely come up with some very interesting solution, and this is it. So let's quickly go ahead and jump into the details. As Hippocrates rightly mentioned, desperate times call for desperate measures, and let's quickly start with the frequently asked questions. So in the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be dealing with the 11 to 12 most important frequently asked questions, but as always you can still carry on asking your questions via emails or the web chat on our website. So first question is, when will the sessions be conducted? Good news is we would conduct the sessions every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and again on each of those 3 days we'll be conducting 2 sessions every time. So in total all of you would have 6 options to choose from within each week. The only concern here is that we'll need at least 3 bookings to run a session, and if it doesn't happen so, we will have to cancel the session. However, you'll be able to shift your booking to the next session, and currently we have a list of more than 60 learners who want to book their micro teaching sessions with us. So I'm sure that at least for the next couple of weeks the sessions would not have much of an issue getting 3 people at least. Okay, the next question is, what will you need? So the first thing, a laptop or a computer with a built-in web camera or an external USB camera would be needed, and again our very dear internet connection. Obviously to meet us all online you'll need a very stable internet connection, and you'll have to check this because we have received people's complaints about not having very good internet connection in the areas where they live. So just for the purpose of this 2-hour to 3-hour session, you'll have to ensure that your internet connection is functioning well. Alongside, a notepad and a pen will be really helpful to make important notes. And usually we provide people with water, tea, coffee and other refreshments like biscuits. However, in this case you'll have to help yourself as per your needs. A PowerPoint presentation or a keynote presentation will actually be really helpful in presenting your ideas to the learners on the online session, and any other digital media like images, audios or videos that you want to use. Please make sure that all these things are prepared and ready for use. Question number 3 is about the requirements for the session. So let's quickly see what the requirements will be. So in terms of your laptop or your computer, the audio-visual clarity must be there, and you must always be clearly visible and audible throughout the session. I would strongly recommend that you practice using the camera and the mic to ensure that they are working properly at your end. The other bit is charge. We've had issues with people losing charge halfway through, so please ensure that your computer or your laptop is fully charged or at least plugged into the mains. In terms of your environment, we would strongly recommend that you ensure that the session must be conducted in a suitable environment like a living room or an office. And if the venue is deemed to be unsatisfactory like a bedroom, the session will be referred back to you. And similarly, external noise should be avoided as far as is possible. So please ensure that noise from outside does not interfere with the sound quality. Please keep your kids and pets away during the session. Obviously, all of us love kids and pets, however, we don't want them to disturb the sessions. So this image is one of those examples of how you could be seated in a quiet place with your laptop or your computer. A few things about me. On this particular slide, I might sound like I'm boasting about myself. Just a few quick facts. So I've been your course tutor so far, and I'll also be the observing tutor for the micro teaching sessions. So far I've observed 3,500 plus micro teaching sessions, and it has been a fun journey. It has been a lovely journey learning so many different subjects over the last 11 plus years. I've been trained under various heads, under various teacher training courses from the University of Cambridge and Oxford. and I've had 18 plus full-time teaching experience. So I hope that I'll be able to help you through the micro teaching exercise. Okay. Question number 4 is how many people would be involved in the session? So including myself, the minimum would be 4 and the maximum would be 6. So this image very aptly shows that if it's 4 learners booked on the session, then the total would be 5 including myself. How long will the session be? Okay. You will be allowed only 15 to 20 minutes for the delivery of your session, so you'll have to ensure that this time is kept in mind. You'll participate in and observe the other delegate sessions to cover the remaining 40 to 45 minutes. So just assume that there are 3 to 4 people booked on the session. You will be delivering a 15 to 20 minute session, and you will be observing the remaining sessions to cover the remaining time. Please make sure that you design a session for 15 to 20 minutes only. You should select a very small manageable topic instead of a long and complex topic. Remember, this is just a micro teaching session, so we would ask you to remember the KISS principle. Keep it short and simple, or stupid if you like. Okay. In terms of time management, please consider keeping around 2 to 3 hours spare for this session. You must join the session 15 minutes earlier to avoid last minute rush. So if the session is going to be starting at 10 o'clock, I would very highly recommend that you come online at 9:45 and at least join the group. Everyone would need around 25 to 30 minutes for the session delivery, plus the verbal feedback after the session and the refreshment break after that. Okay. And please remember, this entire session would be recorded as evidence of the exercise. This would go as evidence of you participating in a minimum of 1 hour of micro teaching activity, and the awarding body strongly recommends that we keep all these video recordings safe. In terms of the total time consumption, every learner would need 15 to 20 minutes of delivery time, 5 minutes feedback time, and let's say there's a 5 minutes break after each session, which will be around 30 minutes in total for each individual, thereby making it approximately 2 hours or a little over that for 4 learners. Okay. Number 7. In terms of your session plan, Unit 2 Task 2 exercise, you must have passed your Unit 2 Task 2 online in advance of your micro teaching session. People who have not submitted Unit 2 Task 2 are highly recommended. Please focus on this task and get it done before you actually deliver your micro teaching session. Question number 8 is about what should I deliver, what topic should I select? Well, I'll be honest, you have the freedom to choose a topic that you like, and we do not dictate the topic for you. We are interested in observing how you deliver the session instead of what you deliver. And in our view, planning a theory session would be recommended as compared to a practical session, considering the online nature of delivery. I mean, if you're delivering a theory session online to the other peers, it would be great engaging with them online. However, if it's a practical session, then you might not have, or your delegates, the peers might not have all the resources at their end, and this might make the session slightly less engaging. However, we've had learners who delivered practical sessions as well. I mean, we've had people delivering sessions like how to make a paper aeroplane, and they've done it online. So it's definitely possible, but it very much depends on what you can do in a limited time frame. So once again, you have the freedom to choose your topic, and I would strongly recommend selecting a theory topic as compared to a practical one if you feel that physical presence of the learners is going to affect your session. Number 9 is all about the flow of the session and the assessment criteria. So the general flow is that you start with introducing yourself and your learning outcomes. While you are presenting the topic, you would be delivering, engaging with the learners, motivating and communicating with them, and you would also be doing some form of formative assessment and an ongoing assessment, question and answers, something like that. And towards the end, we want to see that you conclude your session with a summative assessment, maybe a quiz, a multiple choice test, and summarize your session. So these are some assessment criteria that you would need to meet: a self-introduction, discussing the outcomes of the session, making sure that knowledge is checked over and over, delivery of the topic, learners' questions being dealt with, so you would be providing them with the answers and some positive feedback. You would be quizzing them verbally, providing them with praise and constructive criticism. A final assessment, maybe a test, a multiple choice, or a show me, tell me kind of exercise. And then towards the end, we want to see you summarizing the session. Okay, now in here, I would go with a very detailed explanation of the flow, and what I would strongly recommend is that you guys please start jotting your questions while watching this so that you can communicate with us. Okay, so do a quick self-introduction to gain attention of your learners, and do an introduction to your subject by discussing the learning outcomes. Ask them if they already know the subject matter. I mean, this would serve to be your initial assessment. After these bullet points are dealt with, I'm coming up with two very beautiful examples. So I'll give you examples of a practical session and how to deliver it, and a theoretical session as well. We want to see you deliver your subject with confidence using a variety of methods. And we also want to see that you engage and motivate the learners to participate in the activities during this session using appropriate and effective communication methods. Sometimes having a two-way communication, just like a group discussion or maybe some verbal question and answers, helps in engaging and motivating the learners to participate in your session. We want you to confirm that learning has taken place after each element using open questions, and also provide constructive feedback on an ongoing basis. So I mean, you must be motivating your learners by providing constructive feedback to them. And coming towards the end, we want you to use a variety of methods, assessment methods, to confirm that learning outcomes have been achieved towards the end of your session. And summarize the session by referring back to the learning outcomes. So this is where you will be asking your learners if they feel confident and if they feel that the learning outcomes have been achieved. You could also ask follow-up questions like where can they apply this learning, etc. Okay. So here's a practical example where someone's teaching how to sew on a button on a shirt or a t-shirt. Now, for simplicity's sake, I would just go through the bullet points and I would keep myself quiet for a few seconds. So I hope you have got a very visual picture of how the session should be planned. Now, like I said before, planning a practical session like sewing on a button, or how to use a fire extinguisher, or how to make a cup of tea, or how to make a paper aeroplane. These are very interesting sessions. However, it might get difficult delivering them online, especially on a digital platform like Google Meet or Zoom. And so this is where I strongly recommend once again that you use a theoretical topic. Now in my next slide, I'm giving you an example of a theory session. So this is about the types of fire extinguishers. Once again, I'll keep quiet for the next few minutes and I'll just keep scrolling the bullet points so that you get an idea of how to plan your session, as well as what sort of assessment criteria you need to meet. So I hope that this example has given you quite a good visual picture of what sort of session planning you should be going through, as well as what sort of assessment criteria you must meet in order to pass the micro teaching session. Okay, I'm moving on with the next few questions. So what happens and what is the 360-degree feedback? How does it take place? Okay, so after you finish delivering your session, we allow you a few seconds or a minute or two, I would say, for self-evaluation. Now this is where you'll talk about your strengths and the things you would do differently if allowed to do the same session again. After your self-evaluation comes peer feedback. Your peers will talk about your strengths, give you some constructive ideas on the areas that you can improve on, followed by the tutor feedback. Now this is where I'll talk about your strengths and give you constructive ideas on the areas for improvement. And the last stage here is the written report. This will be emailed to you after the session gets over. So all in all, we involve each party, which starts with you, your peers and myself. So everybody's involved, and this is how 360-degree feedback works. A very interesting question. What are the possible results, Fennel? Okay, so the first and the most wanted positive result is a pass. Now you can get either a pass or a refer in your first attempt. If you get a pass, then there's nothing to worry about, and this will lead to a pass of your qualification as well. However, if you get a refer in your first attempt, we offer you a second attempt. Now this is where you can get a pass or a fail in your second attempt. The most unwanted possible result is fail. I would strongly recommend that you be careful and prepare well if it is your second attempt. You can get a fail in your second attempt if you don't meet the assessment criteria. And a person who fails in the micro teaching session is also considered to fail the course. So please remember, you must aim at achieving all the assessment criteria that we've discussed before in our examples. Now, some good news. The percentage of people that pass the sessions in the first go, I would go with the bad news first. So only 3% get referred. These are the people who do not follow the instructions, unfortunately, and they present a one-sided, very non-engaging session. They just keep doing their blah 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 throughout the session, and we ask these people to redo their session. However, the big good news, a staggering 97% people pass, and obviously these are the people, I'm sure you understand, these are the people who follow the instructions and they present a two-way engaging session with a great introduction, a good delivery and a good closing or the summary of the session. These guys, they do not need to redo their session. So all in all, I've covered all the questions that I think would make it really possible for you to pass your micro teaching session element, and I would like to wish you all the very best. We would shortly send you all the details, the dates and the timings to book your sessions, and I must thank you for spending nearly 20 minutes on watching this video. Thank you very much, guys, and if you are left with any further question, please email it to Millie at admin@theteachertrainer.co.uk. You can also call us on the number. However, I would still recommend that you send us an email. There are two benefits. One, we are inundated with phone calls these days, and so it would reduce the phone pressure. And two, if you send us an email and we send you a reply to the email, it would stay as a record for yourself for a longer time. Okay guys, thank you very much again, and I hope to see you soon in the micro teaching sessions online. Bye bye now.